get our green bean casserole. Getting ready for Thanksgiving. That's a good Thanksgiving dish. Covered dish for a church function. Anything you want to do. Holiday dish. Sunday dinner. Sunday supper. Whatever you want to use this for. It's fantastic. You know, everybody loves the green bean casserole. It's like a Thanksgiving staple, isn't it? And as I've said before, I think I've said in another video just previous to this, you know, wow them. Take the time to do this from scratch. It is so easy to do all these steps. I walked you through the step of French fried onions. I walked you through the condensed soup. Condensed soup of anything. This was cream and mushroom in particular. And now we're going to do the green bean casserole. All right. And here's what I have. I steamed, I didn't steam them all the way like I normally would. I left them slightly underdone because, you know, we're going to, here there's a string on this bean. I'm going to take it off. Double check that. All right. Anyway, this is a family. I'm using frozen. The fresh beans, you know, they just sucked. And just to be honest with you, so I just went with frozen, and they're pretty good. They're in pretty good shape. I looked most of them over. I missed one or two, I guess. Anyway, I just steamed them off. And so they're done. All right. Get that out of the way. All right. Next, what's going to go in is we've got our cream of mushroom soup. Boy, look at that. Just like in the can, doesn't it? It's the shape of a measuring cup this time, though, isn't it? But you know what was in here because you put it in there, didn't you? If you did my recipe, then you did this. You already did this. You know what's in there. You don't have a bunch of stuff you can't pronounce. It's all just you. Got a half cup of milk going in here. And right here, I have the equivalent of one. I've got one. I'm sorry about that. But I'm bumping my camera rig. 1 clove of garlic. You don't want to overpower it. And I've got 1/8 teaspoon of mace. You can leave that out. That's totally optional. A lot of them use nutmeg. I really don't care for that. It's a little too strong in this type of dish. But mace has a lighter. It's got the same kind of thing going on, of course. But it's like nutmeg light, and I just prefer it, you know. So we're gonna mix all this together, give it a good stir. Oh, and I'm forgetting about a teaspoon of soy sauce. We're going to just give all this a good stir. Let's get some of that milk mixed up in there. I'm being really messy today. I'm sorry, guys. It has been a long day. But I won't get this out for you so you can make this for Thanksgiving if you want to, or coming up this weekend. If I get this on out, you can get everything you need. It's just so easy to do. It is not hard at all. Alright, so I'm giving that a good mix. And here's my wonderful French fried onions. I'm going to take about a third of my jar. I'm sprinkling that. Oh, I did a little bit more than a third. Here, I'm going to take a little bit back out because I want that for the top. Excuse me. I'm not touching green beans. Everybody just relax. Alright. Now, I'm just going to give this a good stir. And you remember, you flavored your cream of mushroom soup, and you lightly salted your French fried onions. So you don't really need to be adding a lot more. Now what I'm going to do now, I've got this mixed up, and I am going to add a couple of dashes of pepper. You know, people could do that on their plate too, but I am going to add just a little bit to the bowl. Just a tad, not too much. Mix that up in there. You know, when you're making dishes like this, you gotta think of children and other people that are eating it. Elderly people at gatherings like this, and you know, maybe sometimes you might kick it up or something, but sometimes you just want to tone it down. And when I do recipes for my channel, I try to tone things down a little bit because, you know, everybody just can't handle all the extra, you know. So anyway, enough rambling. I've got this thoroughly mixed, as you can see, nice and creamy, very nice. And Now I'm going to put this in my skillet. Got my cast iron skillet, so let me just get all the, and what I did was, if you're going to use cast iron skillet, you can just use a regular casserole dish like this. Hold on, let me see if I can do this without making a bunch of noise. You know, you can just use a regular casserole dish, and you just spray that with cooking spray. But I love my cast iron skillet, and I like to put mine in a cast iron skillet. And I gave just a light swirl of oil, took a paper towel, just to help it with the non-stick capabilities. It's good in non-stick, but still, I'm trying to do this so you can see it, and it's awkward for me. Let's get all that in there. And we'll get all this extra out of here. Just give me a second. Now, you know, I'm just doing this to show you for the video. Normally, I would have to make about 3 times as much. So I'm going to tell you, this is just a basic, this is a one recipe for like a small casserole, okay? But you would easily double this. And I told you how to do that in the French onions and the French fried onions. You would just double your onions, etc., 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 okay? No, not that big of a deal. And I'll put any kind of notation I can think of. I know a lot of people, they like to mix up some water chestnuts sliced up in here. I've had it that way. It's really good. But like I said, for a video, I'm really trying to stay very simple. Not trying to be la-di-da and fancy-wancy and all that stuff. I'm just trying to teach you basic stuff. All right? So now we've got our other French fried onions, and I'm just going to mix this over the top. And I think I mixed a little bit too much in the green beans. Oh well, running my mouth. And I'm just gonna, my hands are clean, of course. No, it came out just right. So now you've got that flavor throughout, and you're gonna have that crunch on top. Now, I've had my oven on 350. And what I want to talk to you about is, ooh, I'm sorry about the camera rig again. I'm trying to tighten that up, but it's kind of shaky right now. I apologize for that. 350 for it depends on your oven. I'd start checking it from anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes, okay? Your green beans are basically, you know, almost completely done. I underdid mine on purpose. And then everything else is done, really. So you're just trying to get it bubbly before you serve it. And so what I'm trying to tell you is, I put mine in at 350. There's some recipes that do it higher. I don't do it that high. I like 350. That's my good go-to temperature. And if you're doing a double or triple recipe of this, then you're naturally gonna have to leave it in longer, or you're gonna split it between 2 casserole dishes or something like that. I wouldn't go too big. You know, you don't want it all just soggy in the middle. You want to get that nice crunch onion thing going. So if you are going to triple it or something, I'd probably just go with 2 or 3 casserole dishes. That's my recommendation, and that's what I do. So anyway, this is just for home. I did this just for you. Of course, Thanksgiving's not here yet, so this wouldn't, you know, I don't know about freezing this. I've never done that, so if you know how, knock yourself out. But I don't freeze it because there's nothing left to freeze. So I'm gonna get this in the oven. I'm gonna start checking it after about 25 minutes. So anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes, depending on your oven. I'll be back when it's all hot and bubbly. I'm taking it out. Okay, I'll see you then.
Well, folks, I had the mishap of hungry teenage boys that I had previously told them they could have as much of this as they wanted after I was done. Well, they thought I had shot the end of my video. So now we're only left with photos. I hope you enjoy it. The flavors were fantastic. It was really good. You got to try it.